got it. Welcome back as Brantley Gilbert brings us in to the final 6th segment. First ever time we've had 6th segment of the TD show. Made it 3 hours this morning with only a few small technical difficulties. Gosh, we still got plenty to talk about though. We went 2.5 hours and we could probably go another 3. But we're going to try and fit in some local sports, a little NFL news, a little NBA news, and of course.
Before we get to any of that, let's start with 2 minutes with Paula Dan. Paula Dan is brought to you by Bubba's Kitchen. Bubba's Kitchen is the only place serving you better food than Dan's recipes. Stop by today and try out Bubba's Frog Leg Cheese Dip. Guaranteed to be the best frog leg cheese dip you've ever had. What do you have for us today, Dan?
Today on Bubba's Kitchen, I thought we've had enough time since deer season. You've probably been eating your deer, so I'm going to give you my recipe for what I call Philly cheese deer. Kind of like Philly cheese steak, but with deer meat.
Don't say steak, though.
No. If you've had a successful deer season, you've probably had fried deer, deer jerky, deer roast. Maybe even had deer chili and deer burgers and deer sausage. Maybe even had shredded barbecue deer if you're a little adventurous. But I bet you haven't tried the Daniel Bragg Philly cheese deer. All you really need is 1 pound up to 5 pounds, ever how many people you want to feed, of finely chopped deer steak. What I like to use is the trimming off the loins towards the end where it gets too thin. You can't make nice thick steaks for your grill. Use those part and cut it in thin strips. You also want to chop up 1 onion per pound, 1 green pepper per pound, and if you want a little spice in there, throw in maybe half a jalapeno per pound of meat. All you need to do is get you a big iron skillet or maybe an electric skillet or a griddle. Put some butter on it and throw all your meat and your onions and green peppers in there with a little soy sauce, maybe a little A1 sauce, and just cook it until your vegetables are tender and your deer is finished. Once you get done, what I like to do is use provolone cheese. You can use Swiss cheese if you like. Lay out my bun, put a little provolone cheese on the bottom, add the Philly cheese.
You lay out your buns?
I lay out my buns. I like hoagie buns. Lay out my Philly, or like a Italian roll or something, and what you do is lay that out, put your provolone cheese on the bottom, lay your Philly cheese deer mixture on top of that, add a little A1 and maybe a little shredded cheddar cheese on top that off with the top of your Italian roll or hoagie bun or whatever you're using, and you have a Daniel Bragg Philly cheese deer sandwich.
Boom. There you go. Before, I'd like to go to local sports next. Just make sure we get time to talk about them. But before we go there, just like to remind everybody that the offer still stands. We're looking for our first female caller in TD show history.
Even if you're a man and there is a female around, you're married, got a girlfriend,
right? Got
a sister, mother, grandmother.
About everybody's got a mother.
Huh?
About everybody's got a mother.
Or had one. Yeah, everyone knows a woman. Just call us.
Absolutely. Guarantee you everybody knows one.
Call us and let us talk to her.
And also a reminder, we will be at the Small Business Fair March 15th, 2 Saturdays from now, broadcasting live. And if you're a woman and you call in, you will get a shirt as long as you call in and show up at that business fair.
Sarah Jewell, we're advertising your fair for free.
That's right.
Keep that in mind.
Keep that in mind. I'm sure she's not listening, though.
If you're a man, which I assume most of you are.
Well, I tell you what.
You've got a girlfriend, you bring them out there.
Bring them out.
We'll set up some crap, and we'll talk to you.
We'll set up a couple chairs right there in front of our little booth. You can sit there and listen to us.
Be great.
So now time for local sports talk. Local sports talk is powered by Ernie's Shirt Store. Ernie's Shirt Store is a proud supporter of all Metcalfe County sports. Young to old, spring to winter, Ernie's Shirt Store carries all the Metcalfe County gear you need to support your local Hornets. All right, so the Hornets...
But before we move any farther, if you like the way we do our sponsorships, send us an email, give us a call. We can get you a sponsorship on the show.
That's right.
Pretty reasonably priced. We've got a great audience. Could essentially be worldwide if they have the internet.
That's right. So. All demographics, young and old.
Yes, sir.
All right, so here we go. High school basketball. Hornets, Lady Hornets, Monday night, district at Clinton County.
It was at Clinton County.
At
That's
Clinton
correct.
County.
The girls played Russell County. The boys played Clinton County.
Boys played Clinton County, lost 83-57. Girls played Russell County, lost 53-43. And the game much closer than that. If you were listening to it or if you were there, they were in with 3 points there. About 2 minutes left in the third quarter, and all of a sudden, just let Russell County score about 10 points in a row, got out to about a 15-point lead there.
Yeah, they had it, and that's kind of what's happened to our girls some this year is they have a 6 or 7 minute span where not game minutes, real time minutes where things kind of go wrong and they can't get back, and that's what happened tonight. But it was. I'm proud of what our girls did this year. Proud of our seniors and Kelsey O'Leary, Jordan Samuels, Allison Caffey. If I left off a senior, I'm sorry. That's off the top of my head. But proud of what they did and the example they set, and I think we've got plenty of room to grow. We've got a lot of juniors and even a freshman that starts on the team. So pretty good looking forward. I know we got Katie Huffman coming back. I'm pretty sure Samantha Perry's a junior who'll be coming back, who is a starter. Kelly Moss is a starter as a junior, and of course Mackenzie Coleman, the freshman, will be coming back next year. So they should have a good team. There's a lot of freshmen that's got in and played well for the girls. In Kelsey White. Is that her name? Kelsey?
Yep.
Kelsey White. If you don't know who she is, she looks just like her daddy. You can't deny who
They
she
all
is.
look like.
Yeah. But she came in and played well as a freshman. So pretty good things happening there for the Lady Hornets. Same can be said for the Hornets. Brandon Glass was a senior. Austin Pennington, who we know didn't get to play at the end of the year because he had some broken disc in his back, I think. And then Lincoln Bell, who is kind of the workhorse and the stud for the team. Sad to see him go, but kind of the changing of the guard in Metcalfe County as David Clemens is coming in and taking over. And I know they only won 2 games this year, and it was a rough season, but they were competitive and they played hard, and they had the attitude that you would like to see out of the players when you have them playing. So look good, and we've got a lot to grow on.
Right. Coming up, we'll have spring sports. Moving from winter to spring sports, we'll have baseball, track and field, and then spring football, of course, will start up. Football is year-round here in Metcalfe County. Whether school's in or school's out, there's football-related activity going on. So before the seasons get much underway, we'll give you a little breakdown of Metcalfe baseball for sure. Some Lady Hornet softball as well. Try to get you a breakdown on that before the season gets started. Might try to get some track and field in.
A sport that I'd like to get a little more info on. I mean, I know that last year we had a bass fishing team at Metcalfe County.
Is that right?
We did. I know Justin Smith was the coach. I doubt he's listening to us. But if anybody talks to Justin Smith on a regular basis, I'd like to at least talk to him.
Yeah,
about
well, let's try to get him
I'd like
on.
to get him on and talk about it. I'd like to help. If there's anything I can do to help with the bass fishing team, let me know. Also, this is a new thing. Something Metcalfe County's been involved in for quite a while is the archery team.
Right.
And
yep.
Bart Rowland of Tompkinsville, who's our representative, has introduced a bill allowing KHSAA to recognize archery as a varsity sport.
Is that right?
So it's going to be a KHSAA recognized sport now, and our team's always done well. They were recognized the other night. I think we had 3 seniors on our archery team recognized senior night at Metcalfe County. So good things happening with Metcalfe County sports. Something going on all the time. Spring football, of course, weightlifting. There'll be passing games going on. Of course, the baseball team, Brian Garrett does a great job with them. Probably some of the nicest playing fields in the area. So plenty of stuff going on. We'll look forward to that in the upcoming weeks. Talk about the schedules and what the girls and boys are doing on the baseball and softball field, as well as the track and other sports going on.
And then one more thing I'd like to get to, local sports. We saw it earlier this week, break. Saw it everywhere. WBKO, Bowling Green Daily News. Even saw it on the Blaze, Glenn Beck's program. Saw it on Deadspin, KSR. Greenwood boys basketball coach Jason Stonebreaker resigned. It was Tuesday amid an investigation of allegations of inappropriate electronic communication with an 18-year-old Greenwood High School student. Warren County Public Schools has found no evidence that anything inappropriate occurred between the two beyond the electronic communication. However, there's still an investigation going on. There will be an interim boys coach who graduated high school in 2010. Under Stonebreaker, Greenwood went 58-59, including a 20-win season in the 11-12 year. They were 12-16 this year. He resigned Tuesday, and I believe they had to play Thursday night in district.
Correct.
Ended up getting beat by a Bowling Green team that was 23-6, probably the best team in the region, anyways.
They've got a good kid. A couple brothers. One of them is close to he's 6'10" or 6'11". So they've got, and then the other brother, he's a smaller forward or guard type player.
All this said, obviously, part of the story is the communication between the coach and an 18-year-old student and the investigation going on there, and Greenwood losing its coach and an interim coach having to take over. But the most interesting part of this story is the girlfriend's reaction to it, really breaking it herself on Facebook. Here is what she put on Facebook. She starts out, "Dirty laundry time. I don't usually share drama on social media." Something tells me that that's not true. If you're going to share this on social media, you've probably shared some drama.
Some drama before. Yeah.
She continues, "I stumbled upon his phone, Jason's, and found some very incriminating text and pictures. For the record, I am no snooper."
Once again.
Something tells me she's probably
That's
a snooper.
what I thought when I first read
She
this.
says, "I was only curious." She continues, "The fun part of this story is that when he left for work this morning, I kissed him goodbye and asked him what he'd like for dinner. Tonight when he gets home, however, he will find an empty apartment and this letter." And as you brought up,
how in
news
the
is
world
probably going to get to him first.
Somebody's going to tell him before he gets home and finds this letter.
She continues, "You are a fool. You're a liar. You're a cheater. You're a borderline pedophile. I'm light years out of your league. I'm smarter than you, more successful than you. I see the way your friend, I see the look in your friend's eyes, the look that says, why are you with him? None of my friends or family can stand you and have eagerly encouraged me to leave you for years. Remember, I remind you, they've only been together
2.5 years.
Right.
2.5. Correct.
Remember how happy they were. Remember how happy your parents were when I moved to Bowling Green a year ago and you finally moved out of their house. You're a broke 30-year-old man whore, and it's likely you'll be without a job very soon. You're a twisted psychopath. Bless your stupid, stupid heart." Wow.
I mean, not saying the guy didn't deserve it, but gosh, that was wild.
One more part. So the moral of this story is a man should never underestimate a woman with bigger balls.
There we go.
Later during the day, she took it down, apologized, said, "Sorry, folks. I'm taking my dirty laundry post down. I wish him the best of luck. While his actions were inappropriate, after a thorough investigation, the police have found no malicious or explicit activity. Let's not drag him or anyone else involved through the mud." Maybe a little too late for that one.
Right, especially when you said you're going to be out of a job very soon.
Right. "I take responsibility for my part in this. I'm sorry it went this far, Jason. I never thought this thing would go viral the way it has."
What did you expect?
Wow. This is one of the most berserk high school sports-related stories I've ever encountered.
Yeah, pretty strange, pretty wild.
So, I mean, basically, we don't know for
no
sure.
Allegations that he was saying anything inappropriate
Right.
to these girls.
I mean,
he was just texting something.
Right.
We don't even know. Was it girls? Did they even say girls?
We don't know.
He was just texting some 18-year-old students in his class.
Which we admit there could be a bad side to this story.
But
for as all we know, it wasn't.
Well, it could have been homework.
And she does this and cost this poor guy his job.
And we don't know. I mean, he could have deserved to lose his
exactly.
job.
But that being said, he could have not.
Yeah.
So now his name is all over the Blaze, KSR, Deadspin.
Yeah, he's not going to be coaching anymore, ever.
He might not be teaching ever again.
Correct.
I mean,
well, he could probably teach inmates.
Wow. This woman has just ruined this guy's life all over social media.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying the guy didn't deserve it, but I don't know. I'm not going to jump in and judge on that front.
But she usually doesn't post drama on social
No, and she usually doesn't go through his phone. She's not a stalker or a
Just
snooper.
Unbelievable. I mean, part of me feels sorry for the guy because, like we said, we don't know.
No, I have no idea. No.
We have none. And as far as the investigation, I guess, I mean, if you read it, they make it sound like they've went through the records to see what the text said and what the pictures were.
He resigned. He wasn't asked to resign or fired.
Right.
Doesn't mean he wouldn't have been, but
wow.
Yeah.
Just wow. That said, hopefully, I mean, it kind of sucked, I guess, for the Greenwood seniors having to go to district without their coach. Probably a game they weren't expected anyways. Hopefully, the interim gets to step in maybe next year and things go up from here.
Yep. Hopefully, things will get back on track for Greenwood. I know back when we played ball, they were pretty good. And in the past couple of years, I mean, they've had a good team. They just had a down year this year. Things weren't going well. Who knows? This guy could have been losing his job to begin with.
Wow. But moving on from local sports, back to professional sports, collegiate sports, something you made a reference to earlier, the butt dialing.
Yeah. Along with other things.
Urban Meyer is on a phone call with a recruit, and Tim Tebow is with Urban Meyer. He hands the phone to Tim Tebow, and Tim Tebow supposedly says, "Hi, how's it going?" Well, that's good. All right. Hands the phone back to Urban Meyer. Reportedly, about 10 seconds of phone conversation between the two, and violations get handed down on Urban Meyer for a recruiting infraction. And the kid doesn't even end up going to Ohio State. He ends up going to LSU.
LSU, that's correct.
The NCAA and their recruiting violations, unbelievable.
Yeah, there was another instance. The guy had pocket dialed somebody 7 times within like an hour. No conversations of any type, but 7 pocket dials in that. And there's something about a dip cup, and the guy was spit his dip in a cup that had a school logo on it or something. He got a violation for that.
If you're the NCAA, at some point, don't you just have to have some common sense above the black and white?
Yeah, I think so.
And I mean, this is something Jay Billis harps on all the time. I don't particularly care for Jay Billis, but he's really good at pointing this out.
Right. Well, that's pretty much what they pay him for, is to complain about the NCAA.
They don't have any idea, real world, what's going on. No. And I mean, it's probably a bunch of 80, 90-year-old men up there don't have any connection with the real world anyways. Right. But, geez, at some point, just use some common sense. Staying with football, collegiate football even, I guess, up to this point, the Combine, Clowney runs a 4.53 at the Combine.
He also, before he ran it, he said he was going to break 4.5. He didn't.
Well, it came out that he ran a 4.47. Then they looked at the official time.
That was a hand time.
Right. Faster than all quarterbacks, half the running backs, and all but one tight end. Faster than Kaepernick, Wilson, and Newton ran it.
That's correct. I mean, we all knew he was a freak. No one's ever doubted his physical abilities. What they've doubted is his mental toughness, his ability to play for a whole season. Now, I'm not saying some things last year weren't out of his control. He didn't necessarily want to be in college.
Right.
He didn't want to be triple teamed every play.
Right.
All that said, he did kind of give up at some points.
I can't imagine that the Combine really means much.
No, I think all you can do at the Combine is hurt yourself.
I mean, you have 2 years worth of tape that these people can watch, and only 3.5 sacks last year.
Yep, 3.5 sacks. Of course, he was getting double and triple teamed every play, which he won't be in the NFL because, especially if he goes to Houston, they've got J.J. Watt on the other side, Brian Cushing's in the middle. They're going to have some trouble there.
But you got to assume that you're going a lot better. Gets a lot better talent in the NFL too.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
and like I said, something I tweeted out at the beginning of the year last year when they played, might have been their very first game, and it was a 3rd down and goal on the 5-yard line, and Clowney wasn't in the game. It's 3rd down and goal.
Yeah, I mean you can watch a South Carolina game and forget he's playing. You can forget he's there.
Yeah,
which it shouldn't be that way.
I mean, he had that huge hit
in
the bowl game 2 years ago. And that's what people remember about him.
I mean, he did have 11 sacks, but if you look at it, they all came against garbage teams.
Right, and I watched him a lot this year. I watched South Carolina a lot this year just to see how good he could be, and I was not impressed.
I mean, I know a lot of people think that he'll get drafted high, but obviously quarterbacks are a risk too. But I think I'd go with trying to get a franchise quarterback before I tried to get him.
Yeah, I think the thing that he has going for him is his just physical abilities that you can't buy and you can't coach and you can't teach.
Right.
And that they can give him something to do with that speed and strength and size. But mentally, I don't know. We've seen what happens when you get NFL players who aren't mentally tough. As now we've had 2 Miami Dolphins check themselves into some kind of mental rehab.
Richard Incognito smashing his car with a baseball bat.
And then saying it was to donate to charity and now checking himself into a mental rehabilitation clinic. It is known that he's had bouts of depression, and that's not something we want to joke about. But
all this said, this still doesn't mean that all that stuff before was true.
Well, who knows?
It's
Maybe
so
Jonathan Martin caused him to do this.
It's so easy for something to happen and then write off things that happened in the past.
Right.
And I just don't believe that's the case here.
Nor do I.
I mean, can you imagine if you knew that you didn't bully this guy and people just keep piling on, this report comes out?
You can't play the game that you love, what you've dedicated your life to, for something that you didn't do and you believe that you're justified. Yeah, I could see where someone would get tore up about something like that.
LeBron James breaks his nose.
Batman.
Comes out with a mask unlike what Rip Hamilton and others used to wear that's clear.
Much cooler. Actually,
this one's black. Love it or hate it.
As far as masks go, it does look cool. He didn't invent it, though, because I was watching Sports Nation's top 44 dunks of all time, and there was a college player last year that had that same mask.
Is that right?
Yeah, so it's been around, but it does look cool on him. He did wear it well, especially with the headband. That being said, I mean, it's not something I want him to wear all the time. I think if it was up to me, I would just let the broken nose be there.
Yeah, I agree. Staying in the NBA, talk of a 4-point in a longer court.
Yeah, something I don't know about. What they were wanting to do is lengthen the court, add a 4-point line with the 3-point line. They were going to have both. I just think that the more lines you put on the floor, the more confusing it's going to be. The 3-point line did a lot more for me than increased scoring. It provided spacing on the court.
Correct.
It made you spread your offense out and set up what we know as the modern offense, the spread offense and the motion offense, unlike what we call the 6 offense, which is what Rupp ran, and kind of what all the old offenses were based on, which is a pick in the middle and then your 2 wings flash out. Now you have motion offenses because you have the spacing, you have the threat of 3-point shot.
Right.
The 4-point shot doesn't space the floor anymore. It just gives you it can't even reach the edges. It just gives you this bad shot. It's not many good high-quality shots that are going to come from this.
Correct.
I don't think it's a good idea. I think if you want to do something to increase scoring in the NBA, you maybe lengthen the game and shorten the shot clock.
They average 100 points a game. Why would you need to increase scoring?
Exactly.
Why do we need to change everything? 4-point, longer courts, smaller home plate in baseball, no extra point in football. I mean, is ADD that bad across America?
I can see why baseball would be doing things to try and make things. I would think they would want to make a bigger plate.
Make people swing the bat if you're going to do something.
A bigger plate. But
I mean,
I don't know why you're changing anything in the NBA.
Are we that bad that for us to continue to watch something that it's got to be different than it was a year ago?
Well, I don't think that the 4-point would have survived. I think it would be kind of like the arc under the basket. It might have made it 1 year and then they'd taken it out. They are going to test it in the D League this summer, I think. So we'll see what happens, how it comes out of the D League. I don't think it'll ever be implemented in the NBA. I mean, I'm sure that there was – actually, I don't remember hearing any controversy. I wasn't alive, but I don't remember hearing stories of any controversy of the 3-point.
Bob Knight didn't like it.
Wait, Bob Knight doesn't like anything. He doesn't think we should have conference tournaments either. He's completely opposed to the idea of a conference tournament.
That's probably a 40-60 split on that idea. That's probably a little different than the 3-point line.
I would be okay.
I'm not completely opposed to the idea of getting rid of them.
I don't necessarily like the idea of guaranteed berths for conference winners, but I do see what it does in giving any team in Division I a shot.
Yeah, but I mean,
like that.
The Ivy League don't have a conference tournament, and they get the automatic bid from the regular season champion.
That's what I'm saying. But I don't mind the conference tournaments. I think they're exciting and they're money makers, especially the SEC tournament. It's just a cool thing to watch.
One last thing before we go.
I don't know if we have time for this.
Just real quick, N-word controversy. The NFL is considering a 15-yard penalty for saying the N-word during the game.
I think this is the stupidest thing
How
you could ever do.
Are
How
you
do
gonna
enforce it?
Are you gonna come out to wherever and say penalty on so and so for saying the N-word,
Exactly,
and paint somebody as a racist during the middle of a football
I think
game?
what you're going to have to do is, if you want to ban all cursing, which would never happen, but you'd have to ban more than just that word.
Right. I mean, you can't stand there and point out that somebody just said that during the middle of a game.
Yeah, I don't get it. I think that it's a good thing to get rid of that word.
Right.
But I don't think that it's a rule. I think that's something that coaches should say, listen, we don't use that word. You use that word.
Right.
Here's a $10,000 team fine, and you're sitting down. But I don't think it's something that the league should be penalizing.
I completely agree. Just
if you want to handle it, it needs to be handled in-house. I don't think that it's
Right.
anything the NFL can do to help.
I don't
with that.
think there's any way that you can point out on national TV during a game penalty on 52 Daniel Bragg for saying the N-word.
Exactly.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. No good is going to come. I mean, the sentiment is good.
Yes, absolutely.
I'll agree that the sentiment is correct and that we want to have the equality. We don't want to have these derogatory terms. I would say that 85% of the penalties would be on those of African-American descent, though.
I mean, I don't understand why, if so many people had lost their lives trying to get rid of this term, or it was the last word they heard as they were getting lynched or something else, why you would ever want to use it.
Right, and I think that's the argument for a lot of people that
Outside the Lines had a really interesting
oh
piece.
yeah, that was really good.
Right, with I believe Whitlock was against it,
and Michael Wilbon, yeah.
Wilbon was for
it.
You know, he kind of said that it's used as a term of endearment now, and Whitlock had the same perspective that I did with what's went on through history. How could you ever use that word?
I think that they are the authority on this.
Right.
I think that they honestly have had the best debate I've heard about it.
Correct.
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't use it just simply for politically correct reasons. I wouldn't use it. I
wouldn't use it white, black, yellow, green, orange, brown,
use it
purple.
Period. I would. Yeah. I don't know.
Update the poll question.
Poll question. Still 60-40 in favor of no. Do you believe the NCAA should ban court storming?
So the majority of TD listeners believe that court
should
storming
have the
is
ability
okay.
to storm the court. I'm in the minority with 40% of people voting with me, saying that no, yes, they should ban it. I think it's a kind of all or nothing. I don't see what good comes from it. That being said, I'm always sitting at the top at Reparata. I couldn't get to the bottom of the court if I wanted to.
The deal will still be on next week. If we get the first female caller in TD show history next week, they will get a T-shirt. All they have to do is come to the small business fair.
So if you're already coming to the small business fair,
you might as well call
which
in.
I know for a fact there's one female that listens to us that is coming to this small business fair. You ought to give us a call.
So that will be March 15th. We will be set up at the Small Business Fair at Leftwich Hall. I believe that we will be broadcasting at our usual time. We will go longer, but we will be there from, I believe the doors are open from 10 to 4, so you can come in and meet us.
I don't know that we'll make it till 4.
We'll figure something out. But, come in, meet us. If you've already met us, just visit us. If your wife's already coming, we'll set up some seats. You can sit there and listen to us. Get on the air, give us your thoughts on something. I think that's about all we have to say today.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we could talk about a lot more.
Do you have any sort of
time.
special announcements or any business we need to?
Not that I know.
Before
no
we
business
adjourn
we need
here?
to attend to.
Okay. Well, we will see y'all next week at 9 o'clock, either on the tdshow.com, Spreaker, or YouTube.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.